Hi, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I am here with someone who needs very little introduction. I'm Miriam Elder, the world editor at BuzzFeed News. This is Malala Yousafzai, who you probably are all very well aware of, a Pakistani activist, activist for women's education, the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And we're very, very excited to have her here at the World Economic Forum, at the Open Forum. Welcome. So I'm so excited to talk to you because it's such an interesting moment in time. It's when we're seeing governments and groups around the world growing ever more repressive, talking about building walls. At the same time, we have women around the world rising up, calling for equality, speaking out against sexual harassment. And I can think of no one better to speak about this than you. So I'd love to hear first about your journey to feminism. You once said that feminist for you was a tricky word. You now embrace it. So what changed for you, and what does that word mean for you now?
Well, thank you so much for coming here, and it's an honor to speak to you today. When I first heard about feminism, it was not about women's rights, it was not about equality, but it was just these messages that I was seeing that feminism is controversial and that feminism is women's superiority and these things, you know, these views exist, and I just wasn't sure what this word means, and then I just looked more into it and I realized that feminism is just another word for equality. It means equality, and no one would object equality, no one should object equality, and it just means that women should have equal rights as men. And then I said, well, it's very simple. It's not as complicated as some people have made it. And then I embraced feminism, and I was already a feminist, speaking out for girls' education, speaking out for women in Pakistan and then all around the world. When you speak about women's rights, you become feminist, even if you embrace it or not. And right now, looking at the world and how women are standing up and raising their voice, whether it's Time's Up or Me Too, or this movement is building up by women, and they are realizing that their voice is so important to the change that they want to see. And I said it long ago at the UN speech that first we wanted men to do something for us, but like that time is gone now. We're not going to ask men to change the world. We're going to do it ourselves. We are going to stand up for ourselves. We are going to raise our voices, and we are going to change the world. So I really encourage women and girls to speak out against any discrimination, any violence that they see in their community, in their society.
And so you spend a lot of your time when you're not studying. You spend a lot of your time thinking about activism for girls' education. How has the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement changed your thoughts about how you need to approach education for girls in particular?
Education is really important, and it's about how we teach our children about the world, about equality, about human rights. And I think it's so important that our education gives the message of equality to every child. And this is where like a child's mind builds up. And right from the beginning, if we teach equality at school level, I think they would develop this sense that they have equal rights as girls in their school have, and girls have equal rights as boys in their school. So I think education can play a key role in giving the message of equality. And yes, yeah.
And so you've told us your message to the people who support Me Too and Time's Up, which is speak up when you can. We also have a lot of government leaders here at Davos right now. Trump is flying in, of course, tomorrow. What would your message be to someone like Trump, who has his own history with or lack of history with women's rights? What kind of message would you want him to hear from you here?
I just get so disappointed to see that people are at these high positions and they are openly they talk against women, they do not accept women as equal, they harass women, and it's just shocking for a second to believe that this is actually happening. And I hope that women stand up and they speak out against it. And I hope that people who are involved in such shameful things. They think about their own daughters, their own mothers, and their own close female relatives. And just imagine for a second that can they let it happen to their daughters, to their sisters, to their mothers? And I don't think they would accept that. So I think they need to look at it from that perspective as well. But also, because I can't change a person, I'll try all my best to give advice. But I think it's a time for women to raise up their voice, so their voices are heard and their voices reaches those ears, and if their voices reaches those minds that still have those views that we are trying to fight against, and for a second we thought that they didn't exist, but they still exist.
And this is a time where increasingly around the world, it seems like people feel more and more disconnected from their governments, that governments don't necessarily exist to take care of the people. How has that influenced your own life? Is that something that you have felt, and what do you feel the role of government should be in the kind of issues that we're talking about?
So in terms of governments, what my focus has been is encouraging governments and trying to get them to invest in girls' education, because that's one way towards women empowerment. There are 130 million girls right now who cannot go to school. And if you talk about women's empowerment, their equality, if you talk about women participating in the economy, women becoming part of the labor force, women contributing to the whole development of a country, we have to invest in their education. So in terms of my work on education, I do try to do advocacy, try to reach to governments, like now I'm here at World Economic Forum, my message is always to encourage these governments as well as business groups to bring education, especially girls' education, to their top priorities and invest in girls. It's going to benefit the girls and the communities where they're living, but also contribute to the whole economy. And the benefits are unlimited, and we have to remind them this.
I'd love to switch a little bit now and ask you a bit about your life as a person. You do so much. You're a full-time student at Oxford. You're here now. You're doing all this activism. Like, what does an average day in your life look like?
At Oxford, it's quite hard because you have to do like 2 or 3 essays a week, and it's challenging because I'm doing PPE, which is 3 different subjects: philosophy, politics, and economics. And every teacher would give you their work. So one would say, do the philosophy work, do the economics work, and you have to manage your time yourself. I think that's what university life is all about. Your time is with you, and here's the work that you have to do, here are the assignments, here's the extra activities that you want to get involved in. So it's just managing your time. And I missed 2 days of my university, and I'm just panicking a bit. How am I going to finish all the essays? But I hope that giving up these 2 days would help me to deliver the message of education for all those 130 million girls who are out of school. And we have to keep on fighting for this. If we remain silent, like, just imagine for a second, like, every day, how many girls do we lose? There is potential that we are losing. And I realize this more because I go and I visit refugee camps. I was recently in Lebanon, and I met Syrian refugee girls in a room, and I was asking all of those girls what their dream was, what did they want to become in their future. And one girl said she wants to become an architect. And I asked why. And she said she wants to become an architect because when she was leaving her country, she saw that her country was destroyed and devastated. And on that day, she decided that one day she will come back and she will rebuild her country. So war has actually affected these children. There is early child marriages, there is child trafficking, there is those norms and taboos that are stopping girls in their fight to achieve their dreams. So I think about these girls every day, and then I say, okay, you have to do your own study, but also speak out for those girls, because I cannot imagine losing those girls. They are a resource for their community, for all of us. Just imagine, like, in this room, how many girls do we see here? Imagine for a second that you are living in a society where if you did not get education, you would be just limited to your house. All your job was cooking, cleaning, taking care of children, and that's it. You'd never be able to have a voice, to speak out for yourself, to have rights. And I think that's something that many girls are facing right now, and we have to protect them as individuals, but also think about its benefits to each and every one of us.